So we're in Bulgaria, in the city, the capital city of Sofia, and we haven't actually looked around Sofia before, mainly because we kind of prefer Veliko Tarnovo, which was the old capital of Bulgaria, but this is the current capital, and it's got lots of old buildings and lots of history, and we're going to give you a little tour in a moment. But first of all, we may well have some entertainment for you. For one thing, there's a girl singer just over out of sight to the left there, who's setting up ready to sing, I think. But before that, I've got some entertainment from last night. Now, we picked a hotel in a back street, and I pick hotels for their location. And this one's like a 5-minute, 10-minute walk from the central station, and that's obviously our escape when we finished here. Just about 100 yards along the same street, we spotted this really old building which didn't seem to be anything much at all, but it was the most fabulous restaurant with all different rooms inside where you could go. Now, we were put in a fairly central room near the bar, and they laid on an orchestra, as they called it, but that might be just a translation, a little band that moved from one part of the restaurant to the other to entertain us. So I'm going to let you hear a bit of that from last night while I see if this girl's going to start singing anytime soon. If not, we have our lunch to get. So back to our girl singer, and unfortunately she's not singing any traditional Bulgarian songs. Yes, she's singing words of wisdom, so we have to let her be, I'm afraid, because we have a copyright problem if we start playing Beatles songs. So, I'm sorry girl, but not this time. I have to try and find someone else to do our traditional music. She's standing right in front of me. Now, where did that lyric come from? But also in front of Bulgaria's National Theatre. It's the oldest and most authoritative theatre in the country. Didn't know there could be such a thing. It's one of the most important landmarks in Sofia, and it's located here in the city garden. The city garden also houses that long string of fountains that you saw behind me just before. We're bringing you some more music now from this point on the map, which I'll tell you about in a minute. We were actually in Serdica, the place where all the ruins were dug up, and it was a very short walk along to where the music was. So we followed our ears and we came to the executive office of the President of the Republic of Bulgaria, which is a bit of a mouthful, so we'll call it the Presidency Building. Apparently that's okay. The Ministries of Justice, Education and Science and others are located in the same government building. The National Guard is mounted outside, and on the day we went there was obviously a presidential presence because the security people were stopping us going anywhere near. The band were playing to serenade them, no doubt, and we were able to record some of the music but not get particularly close to see what was going on. The views we got of this event were either from the other side of the road, or if we crossed onto the side where the square was, we were fronted up by the security men, who obviously didn't mind being filmed because I wasn't the only person with a camera out. Finally, you see the band marching away, the security men going off duty, and everybody relaxes again and things start to go back to normal. At this point we can get close enough to see the rest of the building and the sentries that are standing guard. Apparently they change the guard once an hour. And so we wander off to see the other tourist attractions in this area. Let's quickly go back to the Serdica area where we were sitting having lunch when we heard this music. And these are the domes I was talking about that light the area underground. And they need cleaning from time to time, so we shouldn't have been surprised that there were actually people walking over the top of them and washing them down. Quickly back to the city garden where you saw the National Theatre before. This is just to show you the extent of the fountains. This is marked on Google Maps as a photo opportunity. It's also a place where the walking tours go past. Yes, there are lots of walking tours around Sofia, and of course they're heading for the National Theatre because it is one of the main attractions. Looking back at the map, we're moving on from the presidential palace now to the Church of St. Nicholas the Miracle Maker. You can tell from the overhead view that it's surrounded by trees, so on the ground level there's only the front that you can really get a photograph of. I of course went right round it and took different aspects of it. It was built as the official church of the Russian embassy, which was located next door, and of the Russian community in Sofia. It's got 5 small domes. I don't know if you can see them all from these pictures. They're coated with gold, and the highest one is 19 metres. Just across the road from there is the Crystal Garden, and by this time we were looking for a public convenience and a drink, and they both exist in the Crystal Garden, and you'll be able to see just around the edge a number of little buildings where you could get some refreshments. After our refreshment, we headed off on a 5-minute walk up to St. Alexander Nevsky's Cathedral. We explored the area indicated by the arrow in the drone view, and there were a number of stalls selling different things. There were statues, of course. They're compulsory in Bulgaria if you want to take your photograph with them. and then we headed back to the hotel. This involves crossing the river, and if you look on the map it looks like it's quite a wide river separating the two lanes of a dual carriageway, but when you actually get there you'll see a big roundabout and only the trams can go through the middle, and then you look down below expecting to see a large flowing river, and it's a bit of a stream really. Rather handily, our hotel is right next to a baker, so you can get some of their local pastries before you go off for the day. The room we had was very nice, had a dual aspect with views out to the local area, again nicely landscaped. The bathroom had this huge water cylinder, which means that you don't run out of water after the first shower. Very useful. So that's our trip to Sofia, a city with some interesting and impressive buildings. It's got excellent cuisine, wonderful food, and of course the local folk music is also very entertaining and enjoyable. And it's with that we'll leave you until next time. Keep watching this channel to find out where we go to next.